Stop me if this sounds familiar. You know that losing project or that bad relationship. You know it's sinking, but you just keep pouring in more money, more time, more energy. Why? Because you've already invested too much to walk away. What you're experiencing is one of the most powerful and irrational forces in human decision-making: the sunk cost fallacy. This isn't just about bad luck. It's about a deeply ingrained psychological trap that keeps us tied to dead ends. In economics, a sunk cost is simple. It's any cost, money, time, or effort that has already been incurred and cannot be recovered. It's gone. It's in the past. Logically, it should have zero influence on your future decisions. The decision to move forward should only be based on what's best from this point on. But that's not how our brains work. The sunk cost fallacy is our tendency to continue an endeavor, even when it's clearly failing, simply because we've already invested heavily in it. We feel compelled to chase the loss, hoping that more investment will somehow validate the past investment. It's what's commonly known as throwing good money after bad. This fallacy is everywhere in the world of money. It costs individuals, companies, and even governments billions. Think about the investor. You bought a stock at $50 a share. It's now trading at $20. Every rational metric tells you the company is a sinking ship, yet you refuse to sell. Why? You don't want to crystallize the loss. Selling at $20 means admitting the initial $50 investment was a mistake. And your brain hates that feeling of waste and regret. So you hold, hoping for a mythical turnaround that rarely comes. And in the meantime, that remaining $20 could have been reinvested in something profitable. Your sacrificing opportunity costs the lost potential gain from a better choice. To avoid the pain of accepting a past loss, or consider a massive business project. The classic example is the Anglo-French Concorde supersonic jet. Long after the initial investment, and despite mounting evidence that the plane was not commercially viable, both governments continued to pour billions into the project. Why? Because they had already invested so much. To quit would be to admit all that prior spending was a waste. They focused on the money already spent, which was unrecoverable, instead of the mounting future costs and the projected lack of profit. The rational choice was to cut their losses, but the emotional cost of admitting failure was simply too high. This happens in small business every day. A manager continues to fund a new product line that sales data proves is a flop. Why? They oversaw the initial research and development budget. Walking away would reflect poorly on their initial judgment. The decision-maker is prioritizing their ego and reputation over the company's profit. The money is already gone. Continuing to spend is purely a psychological defense mechanism. The next time you find yourself holding a losing stock, or sinking another $1,000 into a perpetually failing car, ask yourself this: if I were a new investor, would I buy this right now? The answer to that question cuts through the sunk cost fallacy instantly now. Let's talk about the more painful area where this fallacy lives: relationships and personal commitment. Here, the sunk costs aren't dollars. They are years of your life, shared memories, emotional energy, and a network of friends. This makes the trap far stickier. Imagine a relationship that has become toxic or unfulfilling. You and your partner constantly fight, or perhaps you've grown distant, living more like roommates than a couple. Every day is a struggle, yet the thought of ending it is unbearable. You tell yourself, we've been together for 10 years. I can't just throw away a decade of my life. The 10 years, the time, the energy, the emotional vulnerability, those are your sunk costs. You are afraid that leaving means all that past investment was for nothing. You stay not out of love or happiness, but out of a desperate need to retroactively justify the time you already spent. You're trying to will a future payoff into existence to make the past make sense. But what is the cost of staying? It's not just more time. It's your future happiness, your peace of mind, and your opportunity to build a healthier life with a more compatible partner. In relationships, the sunk cost fallacy isn't just about financial loss aversion. It's about loss of identity and the fear of an uncertain future. When a couple owns a home, has children, or shares mutual friends, the complexity of untangling their lives dramatically increases the perceived sunk cost. Leaving feels like destroying a whole world you built, rather than simply moving to a better one. We confuse commitment with compulsion. True commitment means sticking with something when there's potential for growth and mutual benefit, even when it's hard. The sunk cost fallacy is the compulsion to stick with something purely because of the past, even when the present is damaging and the future is hopeless. The psychological roots of this trap go deep. The primary engine driving the sunk cost fallacy is loss aversion, a well-documented cognitive bias showing that the pain of losing something is psychologically about twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining something equivalent. When we quit a project or a relationship, we face a definite, immediate loss: the money spent, the years invested. Our brain focuses intensely on this concrete loss, ignoring the potential, but uncertain, future gain of a better alternative. We choose the guaranteed pain of a continued bad situation over the frightening uncertainty of change, simply to avoid the feeling of having lost. Another powerful factor is the need for self-justification and cognitive consistency. We have a deep need to believe our past decisions were sound. If you walk away, you implicitly admit you were wrong from the start, or that you wasted resources. This creates a state of cognitive dissonance, the mental stress experienced when holding conflicting beliefs, such as "I am smart and make good choices, and I just wasted 5 years on a bad investment." To resolve this discomfort, our brain irrationally pushes us to continue, telling us it's not a waste if I see it through. The payoff is just around the corner, thereby preserving our self-image as a persistent, smart decision-maker. This urge to appear consistent to ourselves and to others, that we are not quitters, often overrules the rational facts, staring us in the face. It's the ego, not the wallet or the heart, calling the shots. So, how do we escape this powerful trap? Escaping the sunk cost fallacy requires a fundamental shift from a past-oriented mindset to a future-oriented mindset. It takes courage and a specific set of tools. Step 1. Acknowledge and quantify the sunk cost. You have to clearly name what you've lost. Say it out loud. I have spent $50,000 on this business, or I have spent 8 years in this relationship. Write it down. Once you've acknowledged the exact nature of the loss, you can clearly label it as irretrievable. That money is gone. That time is gone. No future action will bring it back. This simple act of clear labeling helps separate the rational decision from the emotional attachment. Step 2. Adopt the new CEO or new partner mindset. This is a powerful mental model. Imagine you are the new person who just inherited this situation. You are the newly hired CEO of a company with a failing project, or you're a friend looking at your situation objectively. The new CEO has no emotional attachment to the initial investment. They only look at the data. What is the projected future cost versus the projected future benefit? Does the project make sense today? Does this relationship make me happy today? If the answer is no, the new CEO or objective friend would advise cutting the loss immediately. Apply this external objective perspective to your own life. Step 3. Focus on opportunity cost. The true cost of staying in a bad investment or relationship isn't the money or time you've already lost. It's the potential you are losing right now. Every day you hold on to that losing stock, that money isn't available to be in a winning one. Every month you stay in an unhappy relationship. That time is stolen from a chance to find genuine fulfillment, or simply to invest in yourself. Reframe the decision. You are not losing your past investment. You are gaining your future opportunity. Quitting is not failure. It is a redeployment of resources. Step 4. Set clear, predetermined exit criteria. This is the most effective preventative measure. Before you commit to any major investment or relationship, define the conditions under which you will automatically pull the plug. For a stock, it's a stop-loss order. It drops to $40. I sell, no questions asked. For a project, it's a deadline and a metric if we haven't hit 5,000 sales by the end of the year, we shut it down. For a relationship, it might be a non-negotiable boundary if a core issue is not resolved after 6 months of couples therapy, I will walk away. When these criteria are set in advance, the decision to quit becomes an automatic, rational action, not a moment of agonizing emotional debate. You are simply executing the plan. This is the ultimate tool for overcoming the ego's desire for consistency. You are not quitting. You are adhering to the plan. This removes the psychological battle entirely to escape the sunk cost fallacy. You must recognize the difference between perseverance and stubbornness. Perseverance helps you toward a worthwhile goal, but stubbornness compels you to cling to a hopeless cause just to avoid feeling foolish. Ignore the sunk costs. The real loss is the opportunity cost of staying. Reallocate resources for future value.